Hello, Flux Flexers. How are you doing today? Yes, you are our flexers, and we hope you have been flexing with all of our content here on YouTube. You're welcome to another super duper edition of Flux 360. If this is your first time of tuning in, welcome. I mean, we are so glad that you're here. How did I see that song? You are welcome in the name of the Lord. Anyways, we are glad you're here, and welcome to the tribe. On Flux 360, what we do is we talk about everything that pertains to anything, whatever it is. We try to talk about it: life, love, relationship, any topical issue, and we bring guests on the show to have an in-depth conversation about it. My name is Evelyn Ohiole, and guess who is right here by my side?
Hola, how you doing? My
I'm
people, you look beautiful.
Thank you, you too.
My
You look
people, you're
gorgeous.
welcome to another episode of Flux 360. I hope you've been riding this boat with us together. It's another episode again. Let's go.
Let's go. By the way, for today, it's going to be an interesting conversation. I can't wait to see how this particular conversation goes.
How are you going to forecast this?
Because Heritage, we've been always talking about us creating magic, and we say,
Yeah.
oh, right here on FluxITV, what we do is we're media with a Bosca shape,
True.
and also we create magic with all of our content. But what happens when you have the real magic
The real magic.
right here in the studio?
Mind
with
blowing.
you? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with us the mighty, dynamic, talented, unique Nelson Olowe, also known as Phantom the Magician.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing,
Great.
Phantom?
Thank you.
Why would you be asking how is he doing? He's looking good already. So, I mean, you don't need to ask that question.
She?
And I guess I think we all had probably a meeting, with the black and white and all.
Oh, that's true.
All of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
The dress code for today.
Oh.
Exactly.
Maybe you guys caught on because that's just my color. I mostly wear white
Okay.
and black.
We would have sent you out as me, you're not wearing white and black.
Right?
Yeah, but thank
I'll
God,
just
thank God for
magically
grace,
just
grace. Yeah.
So your color is basically white and black.
Yeah, I just love white and black.
Is
I
there
don't
a
like too many
story to
colors.
that?
What?
Is there a story to that?
No, not really. It's just color preference and the kind of fashion style that I enjoy. So I
Okay.
don't like too many flashy colors. I just like natural colors. I feel that it's just mine.
Or is it that?
And that's why you're also complimenting silver accessories.
Yeah. So I don't really like gold accessories. So silver is just.
No,
my
don't
style.
break my heart. Come on, I'm a lover of good. Any day, anytime.
It's understandable.
I was thinking probably you don't know how to combine your colors.
Oh, no.
People would rather stay on the safe side and
Yeah.
say, okay, it's either black or white. You can never go wrong with black and white,
Sure.
and any nude color. Than you saying, oh, does yellow go on red? Does purple go on green? Does this go on that? Is that it for you too?
No. My friends know me. Even at the house, most of the decorations at the house is just white and black. I don't like colors.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like colors that much.
So talk to us, Phantom. I mean, the very first day, let me just say this backup story, yeah? The very first day I saw Phantom perform live, is a magician and illusionist, I should put it that way. You do tricks here and there, and people are, amazed. They're, wow, how did he do that? That's magic. And the very first time I saw him perform, instead of me to be so wowed and amazed, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put you down or anything.
No, it's okay.
I was trying to explain how you were doing all of that. In my head, I'm like, I'm sure this is how you did it.
You're
now.
mixing,
There has
the
to be
chemical in your
something.
head, right? You're mixing the calculations up.
Exactly. I was like, there is no way that I said it's just tricks now. This guy is just fast enough. This guy is just it was I should also state here that it was an amazing performance.
Thank you.
I was amazed, but the journalist in me would always want to find out the hour.
There has to be something.
Exactly. So talk to us. How did you meet magic?
Oh, okay. This will be like this is the 100th time I'm telling this story.
Okay.
So I think basically since I was pretty young, I just have this urge to wanting to stand out, and I was always drawn to the stage. You understand? So back then in church, I was in the children's church, children's choir, the drama unit, the
Wow.
dance, and all of that. So, but I just noticed that almost every single time that I got good at something, whether it be singing, dancing, or acting, there was always somebody that was,
Also,
Better.
also good
doing
at that.
yeah.
If not necessarily better, but you get me.
Yeah.
So there was always that. So yeah, it just kept on going until I actually came across magic one way or the other, and I just felt drawn to it. So I met, I think back then it was, it was one of the boys in church, pretty cool guy.
Okay.
Yeah, so he usually had most of the ladies around. Yeah,
So,
So it was-
he's handsome.
yeah, you can
You
see
don't
that.
want to admit it. He's
Oh,
handsome.
come on, it's weird for a guy
And
seeing other
catching.
guys. Other guys, but yeah, he's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he did something once. I think it was one of these Indomine what's the word now? Their characters palettes that is
Indomitable.
yeah, Indomitables, all those
characters,
stuff, the stuff that come with the package and all of that. So
Yeah.
The stretchy and the likes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but this one was big boy, yeah. So
Yeah.
he took it
Yeah.
was kind of like a coin. So he called a few people around, and I was just passing by. I was like, what is Shegun doing right now?
Okay.
So I was just looking at, just from over the shoulders of everybody gathering around. And then took the big boy sticker and just waved, and the picture just
Disappeared.
vanished. And it was just like the shadow of where the picture was before that was there. I was like, okay, what did this guy just do now? While I was trying to figure out what was going on, he just waved again and the picture came back. I was like, okay, that's quite impressive. So yeah, so I got to speak with him, I had to like chase him down when I found out that he was doing a few card tricks and all of that then. So I got close to him and he gave me a little journal. Not really journal, it was one of his jotters where he wrote down a few things, about magic,
Okay.
beginning. So he gave that to me. I paid a little something coming for just for him to be committed,
Nothing
to
is
put
free.
me through. Yeah, I believe that anything that has value,
Must
Yeah.
it
be
should be, even if it's
for-
not much, there should be
Yeah.
a little bit of exchange of value. You
Yeah.
understand? So,
Yeah.
and that was like I'm talking about, say 15, 16.
Years ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was when I was 15, 16
Okay.
years of age. So yeah, so I took the book back home. He gave me a deck of cards, and that was all I had then. And I just got infatuated with it. I just loved the idea of being able to do something like that. I was one of the kids that have these wild imaginations. Like I could lie down in bed and imagine myself as Superman,
Wow.
doing all the whole Superman stuff for the whole day, and I'll just be there in my own head. I stay up all night just trying. There was a time I was actually praying for God to give me superpowers. It was that
Ooh.
crazy. Yeah.
I
So
felt like every children's dream actually.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wanna
Every
be-
single one of
You want
us.
to be Batman. You want to
Yeah.
be Thor.
Yes.
You want to be.
You want
And
to be
I
invisible.
And I think that's one of the I still do even till now. Yeah,
Now.
because that's one of the questions people ask me about magic. Is they're like, were you born with it? How do
Yeah.
you just get to want to do? So I feel like, thinking about it now,
Hmm.
is that childhood imagination, you understand, that I still have a lot of it with me, because as adults, as human beings, when we grow older, life experiences and all of that kind of
Yeah.
like takes that away from us,
Yeah.
and everywhere is just black and white.
You face reality.
You
that's
get
it.
everybody just focus on have to get a job, and everything is
Yeah.
just straightforward and
Yeah,
just
true.
calculations. But there's the whole, how will I put it now, the freedom of imagination of a child is just
It's wild.
it's wild. Yeah, so that's basically it. So yeah, from there I just got really into it. I was researching, I was reading books, I was practicing, endless practice, and I was doing that for like almost a year, because I was so around that time I was preparing for jam.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that for like almost a year until I felt confident enough to actually do any form of magic. And
Did you use that for jam? Like probably did some abracadabra. for
Come
jam?
I
on.
don't know if I'm supposed to even say, so you don't go and pull back my results. It might be too late, but
But you
nah,
actually
nah.
put some stunts.
No, not
You
really.
didn't do anything.
Nah, I aced the exam naturally.
A quick one. I was even about to ask you, how did name Phantom come to play? Or
Okay.
is it Phantom X, Techno, Phantom X of a thing?
Okay, yeah. So back then there was this cartoon we used to
Okay.
watch then. There, and in the cartoon there was a character. It was an Egyptian magician, basically, the
Okay.
character. So he was always doing magic. But the character got a little stronger along the line, and he had this phantom something. So yeah, I've had several, variations of the name over the years. So I just added a few things, took a few things at a time, and just boiled down to Phantom. And the word itself really explains what I'm all about. Phantom is just something out of the ordinary, something
Yes.
unexplainable. So that's basically what I'm all about. So
Wow.
if it's
Nice.
Okay, so when you started at age 15, 16, I am curious because I want to know how your background is. You grew up with both parents, yeah?
oh no.
Okay, so let us, because I want to know how your parents reacted
Okay.
to you wanting to go into magic. They're like, and you are Yoruba. I should put it out there.
Yes.
Your name, your government name is Nelson
Yeah.
Okikiola
Olowe.
Olowe.
Yes.
So I know how Yoruba parents can be dramatic
Ish.
when tell them like name possible. So
Okay.
how did your parents accept the fact that you wanted to go into magic?
Okay, so like I said, I was still preparing for university then, so I was. Although I lost my dad from a really young age.
I'm so sorry about
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
So it was just my mom and my siblings and I. Yeah. So how was it? Yeah, there was obviously there was friction. I was supposed to be preparing for jam, but when she goes to work and comes back and sees me playing with cards instead of reading, it always brings up argument. Like
Yeah.
there's this line she used, and she comes back, and I'm like just in my room, just messing with my stuff, and she's like, "You and this your caddy again? That's the card." She calls it caddy.
Yeah.
And then there was a little misunderstanding on how it went. But my mom was this. She has always been this free-spirited person. She allowed us to express ourselves. So when we were aside from academic work, because she was a teacher.
Okay.
She's a trained teacher. So aside from academic work, she always encouraged us to participate in any form of creative, whatever,
That's
taking us
cool.
to rehearsals in church and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
she wasn't sure what I was doing. Every parent that sees a child with cards is like, are you going into betting or something? So she came back from work once and started nagging at me for not reading, playing with cards, and I just said, okay, let me show you
How this thing
some
works.
magic. That's probably like the first magic act I ever did for somebody.
Yeah.
And then the whole stuff, pick a card and something like that, and then boom, she's like, it's a lie. Do it again. And then I did that, and then she was, wow, are you okay? So it was actually interesting. From then I got the courage to do it for the neighbors, until the first big break, where we were taking tutorial lessons then. So my first day at the lesson, because basically from childhood I've always been a shy kid, really shy, and the kind
Really?
of kind of just hides in the background
Wow.
until somebody calls me out. Yeah, I didn't have too many friends and all of that, so I found it hard to express myself. So I was in class, just sticking to myself in the seat, until a guy walked up to me. He's like, what's up now, how you doing? My name is this, blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, this is my name as well. We talked a little bit, and then during the break in tutorial, I took out my cards and I was just playing with them. And he came and was like, what am I doing? I'm like, can I show you some magic, in the most timid voice ever? Yeah, and he was like, okay, sure. So I just did something, and boom, it was like, what? No way. He ran and called the whole class. Like everybody came into the class and they were like, this guy did juju, this guy this guy get magic. And so yeah, everybody, I just did something for the whole class, and everybody was amazed. They had to go call our tutorial tutors then, and I was doing magic for them. The man was like, it's a lie, there's some mathematical tricks going on there. So yeah, so from then on the courage started building up. It became a thing where after tutorial every day, after classes, the whole school goes to the biggest classroom in class, and everybody sits down and waits for Phantom to do
Really?
magic. I'm telling you, it
So
was
you had your own stage, you
Exactly,
had your
there
own
in
show.
class.
in
So you
class.
became the professor. Professor in Money Heist.
Yeah.
So he was the mastermind.
everybody waits for the class to end. Then they will just all go into the big classroom where we have general classes like English and maths, and
Yeah.
everybody just sits there, and then I do magic. So from being the guy that's just at the background in class, I started making friends. I was like friends with everybody, and then the girls were coming in. So yeah,
Nice.
I mean, so as a young person, then it was. I didn't really say I wasn't really seeing it as anything. I was just having fun. So being able to live up to that character. And the funny thing about magic is, being a magician is, once somebody sees you and they say, hello, this guy is a magician, it's like, he's a magician, do something. Like
Yeah,
on the
they
spot,
want you to
True.
do
you get
something,
nobody
yeah.
wants. You have to do something. So like, pardon me, I had to embody the whole character of the personality of the magician, and it was fun. So getting to make friends, and learning to express myself with magic. That's how.
Amazing. I mean, it's
Interesting.
amazing. I for one,
And I got a girlfriend as well.
Oh, nice.
wait, calm
Work
down.
class, work class, work class, work class.
That was like doing the tutorial now.
Okay, the jam tutorial,
jam,
right?
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
did this really weird stuff where and it's just something special just to make us stand out in class. The usual
Oh, nice.
stuff that we guys do.
What did you do? What
What did I
you
do? Do I remember
Pastor?
correctly? I think I had her pick something. No, okay, yeah. There's a way I made her name appear on my hand. Ish, yeah, like a little temporary tattoo just by rubbing it and it came up. It was really interesting.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wait, this magic thing, talk to us. Let us know. Was it really about creativity or you wanted to get a girlfriend? Because I remember when you started, you said Shegun had loads of girls around him.
Yeah.
So was that what really drew you?
The
to, like,
motive behind
okay, I too can, have the girls around me. I too can be the wave of the moment. You
Yeah,
know.
no, now.
So
But
was it at least that a push for you of some sort?
I wouldn't really want to say it was all about the girls, but just imagine a young child, a young guy, I was finding how to express himself. And like I said, I was always attracted to, the stage and the spotlight. Like, I always felt comfortable being the center of attraction, whatever way possible. So yeah, aside from, just getting the girls, obviously every guy that age was just trying to just get.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
To digress a bit, you mentioned before that you were a very timid child.
Yeah.
You're a very shy child, and there are people that actually have this opinion that people that are timid, people that are shy, like timid children, shy kids, that feel they don't really have something to give, they are really the most creative, and they are the most talented. Do you share that opinion?
Well, if I'm to think about it, I would say there's an element of truth to it, because one of the thing about being, the one at the corner all the time, being alone, means that you spend a lot of time with yourself. You spend a lot of time in your head. You understand? So, why most people spend their energy, exerting energy out, you conserve a lot of energy. So, you think of things way ahead of people, because you have the whole time. You don't engage in so many conversations. You read the room a lot more than most people. You are the shy one, but the person that is probably a liar. You can just read the room because everybody just overlooks the fact that they're there. So I think that most people that spend time alone, especially the introverts, are actually quite intuitive, because they think about things outside the box. They see the room or see the world from a personal perspective. You get like looking at the picture outside the picture, while most people are just engaged in all of the activities. They just see it like a movie. So yeah, I guess there's an element of truth to that.
Truth there. Heritage?
All right. Has there been a point in time whereby you did the magic and it actually failed?
Oh yeah.
Now, shared experience. I want to hear.
Okay, so it's been like 10 years now. I've been doing magic for like 10 years now.
Nice.
So obviously, anybody doing anything for that long will obviously have ups and downs. I've been to a few places. I've seen failure, a fair portion of it as well. So yeah, but that's where experience comes in. When it's just like every other performer out there, everybody makes a mistake. But being a performer, being an entertainer, the way you carry the mistakes, because one of the fun parts is that most people don't know what you want to do. So they're just here to see you have fun. So you having fun on stage directly just translates to the audience. So of course there could be errors, but a professional will always find a way to cover.
So what did you do exactly and what failed?
Okay, there was a time where I tried reading somebody's mind.
Okay.
Yeah, and I came up totally blank. So I was trying to read this person, and because some people intentionally try to make it harder for you. You understand? So I was just trying, and I was getting nothing entirely. So I feel like when I eventually got something, and I told them what they were thinking of, and they were like, it's wrong. And it was kind of like a really big program. I forgot where I was. I was with a few prominent individuals then, and it was my manager took me to meet a few people, but he trusted me that I was going to still come true. So after that whole mess, I was like, okay, you know what? let us see how we can fix it. Then I did something entirely else. And once you do something that still impresses, they just forget about what happened.
So the audience knew that you messed up.
I mean, it depends. Okay, yeah.
At that instant, it
will be obvious because the person is going to antagonize it, right?
Yeah, the person is going to be like, I was wrong.
This is not what I was thinking.
Yeah. So I just, one of the few things you learn as a magician is you have to be able to manipulate people without them even knowing. Just by having conversations.
Manipulative, but
you can just you have to like change the topic, change the whole conversation. They already knew that you didn't get it right. Yeah. So I don't know. You can just give. Me telling you the full details now might just kind of
blow your cover.
Yeah. So I remember this other instance where, I was doing a set. I was on a set. I was performing stand-up magic. I had like a full lounge, watching me. I was doing this stuff where, okay, let me see if I can explain this one. I had a nail.
Okay.
A nail attached to a wood, so the nail is standing like this, and I placed it. Most people that know me remember this story. Yeah. So I placed it in the whole trick is like the routine is like a Russian roulette type of something where you're supposed to pick something. If you get it wrong, you win a prize. If you get it right, you are in danger. So it's like there's a nail in a paper bag, and there are 4 paper bags, but there's a nail standing inside one of the paper bags. So we put the nail in, I turn back and close my eye. A guest and a spectator comes on stage, mixes up the whole stuff. So this way I don't know where the nail is, nobody knows where the nail is, right? So I now ask the audience to just point at either one of the bags. So when they point at the bags, like this Squid Game type of something, yeah, so when they point at either bags, I have to like use my hand to smash it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was going great. Everybody was having fun. It's a kind of a comedic, interactive kind of performance, and it was going great. The first one, and it's very suspense filled, so because and the funny thing is, I've been doing this for a while. That was my first time doing that set, so I smashed it. Great, okay, fine. The nail is not there. Everybody's like, So now it actually gets riskier. Yeah, because there was 4 bags, now it's 3. So now they mix it up again. Somebody points at another one. Bam! It's now remaining the last 2 bags. So they pointed at it, and I was like, this one, yes, this one, yes. So I'm actually supposed to play the game with a spectator. So when they pick one for me, I smash. The next person is supposed to be the one to smash. So we go down to the last 2 bags, either way, and then it was my turn. I think if you still check my hand, you're going to see where the nail
Are you kidding?
I'm telling you, I was on stage in it. The nail went straight through my hand and came out from the top here. I was like, never happened before. And I've done that set, but I was like, wait, what? I was laughing at myself on stage.
Wait, blood was gushing out?
No, okay, so the blood didn't come out immediately. That was supposed to be the last set of the performance though. So I was like, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you should not do this at home. But they still loved the fact that it was a risky something, and they gave me a round of applause. And I ended the set there. And when I got to the bathroom, that's when the blood started coming out. It was crazy. And the thing is, I had just finished a show. Like I did a show, Maze of Relations, then I just finished. So the next day after I got back to Ibadan, my crew and I were supposed to go for a little retreat and all of that. It was a messy period, but it was fun. It was still funny to me though, because it had never happened before. I think that has to be like the biggest mess up that I can remember. And
the audience felt it was all part of the show, because I loved how you ended it and like, ladies and gentlemen, that's why you shouldn't try
this at home.
And everyone thought, oh, it's part of the show.
Because they now understand how risky
it is.
That particular art is. So.
Yeah, I really entirely loved what you did there. I think it was spontaneous, and I think it was very creative, and that actually shows that you're a master in the game and you know what you're doing. Yeah. So let's go back to your journey. You know, I want to know when exactly you started making money from magic. When you decided, okay, I want to take this as a career and not just some exercise to
not just a hobby.
Some exercise to bring in the girls. I must always get back to that. When you know
that was years ago, guys, don't take that personal.
Okay, they got the memo. But then let us know when you knew that magic is the way for me. This is who I am, and this is what I'm going to embody going forward.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think that would be say about 4 years ago,
Okay.
2021.
So you've always done it as a hobby.
Oh yeah, it has always been a hobby, something I just do for fun, you know.
Wow.
Okay.
I can't really remember any. Oh well, so but probably when I was in school, University of Ibadan, there were, just a few. Oh, there's this department thing coming up. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think, yeah, because like one of the thing is when I actually got magic, like I said, it brought out a new personality in me. So instead of that guy that just stays in the house all day, because I literally stayed in the house all day, just me and the TV and just whatever it is I felt like doing in the house.
You're part of those get inside.
Yeah. I wouldn't really see get inside per se, because means if I do street small, but I just didn't. Okay, probably I just didn't. At one point, I just didn't feel the urge of just being
Going
out there,
out.
because
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
was just there. Maybe I was focused on getting into school. I don't know,
Okay.
but I was just indoors back then.
Okay.
So when I eventually did get to school, I felt free.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I moved around a lot. I took the first challenge I got. Right, there was the face fresher,
Freshers night.
Oh, this
yeah,
fresh.
of the
Okay.
year, on campus then. So I heard about it. I was like, boom, this is it. This is the chance.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took the form. I got a friend that was managing me. I did the whole set. I got my act ready. Yeah, but I wasn't really ready because I hadn't done something like that before. So I went for the competition and I came third.
Oh.
Yeah, but the form parts and the take home from it was, my performance was like the
Highlight.
highlight
Of
of
the
the
night.
whole night. I didn't win, but nobody even remembered who won. Because
Okay.
one of the reasons why I didn't win was, like I said, I hadn't done something like that before. So there were extra points for your outfits,
Okay.
the presentations, the question and
Mhm,
answer session, all of
mhm.
that. We even
Okay.
had a camp session where just the contestants hanging around, and I didn't even know they were judges. Judging your character. Then I was still the guy at the corner, just watching
Okay.
everybody and all of
Okay.
that. So yeah, but I came out when I was put on stage. Yeah, so like it was amazing. I was going on, everybody was like, "This guy, magician." So since then, oh God, I couldn't even catch a breather on campus. Then it was just wherever I go, somebody wanted to see magic, and it got a little bit tedious personally because I have to still focus on school and
School
True.
and
going to
studies.
class and everybody. So it's like being introduced into this new phase of spotlight being on you and all of that. So yeah, so there were stuff like that. I went for the next competition I got. That was face of the faculty at the time, and so I had more experience this time. So I won.
Oh.
I won that
Okay.
one. So yeah, I still did magic as well. So it has always been something that helps you stand out. But I wasn't really getting any
Money.
monetary, reward or anything.
Compensation.
Aside from say, there's something going on here. A few students are doing something. They just give you a token, probably, here and there. But nothing really until I was just doing it for fun as usual. And I had a little glitch here and there because, I had to still focus on school and the attention was getting a little too much. It did affect me a little bit in school, but yeah. So until say 4 years ago,
2021.
when you know, I went for a TV competition, the Nigeria Spirit Talent Hunt. It's yeah, I don't know if you heard. Yeah, so it was a really big platform for me. I mean, I've been busy way before that, but that was like say the one singular event that actually just took me out of the comfort zone entirely and just so yeah, I went for it. It was fun. It was amazing. I think I did great if I'm to say so myself. I got I got to the finals of the competition. One of the
Okay.
last that was the second season.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean I was competing with the best talents from all over the
The
country.
country here.
The singers, the dancers, they were all amazing, and I had to perform every week. It was like 10 weeks, so I had to perform every week. You get, I was performing
New tricks every week.
every week. I was performing,
is always high.
yeah, because no, it's not a serious small, because you were on TV. Yeah,
Yeah.
people will
always
call me,
say like-
dude. I just saw you on TV.
The
You get,
tension, the expectation.
Yeah.
it was crazy. There were judges. There was Iniedu, Ike Ogbonna,
Yeah.
the whole set. So it
Yeah.
was an amazing experience. And being someone that's always loved the spotlight, there were days where I was dreaming, watching shows like America's Got Talent,
Okay.
BGT, seeing magicians on stage.
Yeah.
I always wanted something like that. So that was it.
And the realities coming to pass.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I saw the chance and I took it. And yeah, all glory to God, I was able to do my bit. So since after the event, I came back. Yeah, things opened up a little bit, I guess, after that.
Wow. So have you, in your journey, as a magician, have you met another magician in
Oh
Nigeria?
yeah, yeah. Oh, there are only a handful of us, but we're growing every day. So
Okay.
basically, when I started magic, had felt like I was the only magician in the country for like a really long time.
Yeah,
So,
I know that feeling. I
Yeah.
know that feeling.
For
Guess
like,
it's not
say-
something
Yeah,
common.
there was no template to follow. There was nobody to call a mentor. There was like literally nobody. You see, so yeah. So until say a few years before I went for the said program, yeah, it started coming about. So yeah, we actually did manage to find a way to come together thanks to social media. We had a group, and then there were a few of us. That was when it actually started, finding out there was actually somebody as weird as you are, because magicians are the weird kids. Trust me, like ask every magician, they're going to tell you that they were once the weird kid. You get me? So yeah, finding out there were people that were interested in this unique art that you found was really, really, uplifting. And it actually helped because we exchanged ideas and all of that. A few people got to meet. I was still in school. I couldn't meet too many people back then. Until, yeah. So now there's a whole community of us. You understand? We hold shows together now. We even have it. Yeah.
I want to talk about the collaboration between.
Yeah, a lot of
amongst
collaborations
you,
going
yeah.
on now. Like I said, I hold shows as well, and I go to magician shows. They come to my shows. We hold stuff. We hold live performances. So many forms now of collaborations in the magic industry, because it's actually an industry now. For something that was a hobby, like there was nobody making money. I wouldn't. Okay, yeah. I think I can boldly say there was nobody making money for magic, say 6, 7, 8 years ago. There was no market for it. I thought there was no demands. Like, oh, you do magic? Oh my God, that's so cool. Just wow, amazing. That's just it. But now, if you want your show to stand out, I think you should call a magician. Yeah, because there's who else are you going to call? There are so many hype mans, there are so many comedians, there are so many dancers. But when you see something out of the ordinary, you just take that home and then you look at it on your phone for a million times. How did this guy do this thing? And yeah, that just one of the main things I've learned about events over the years is you want to be able to create memories.
Yeah, something that lasts.
Yeah, something that lasts in the mind. There are so many events. If I'm to ask you how many events you've been to all year now, you can probably name a few. How many can you remember in detail? So you understand. So if you want to prepare a good event, you need to put that little spice, whether it's the venue, the dress code, the theme, something that people can take away aside from all the music and the lights and all of that. So and the food.
So
If the food is going to be the highlight, it has to be special food as well. So.
So you don't have people look at you, weird stare. When you tell them I'm a magician, because we also have to consider the fact that in Nigeria, this kind of thing is not an everyday thing. It's not like when you wake up and you go out and tell someone I'm a singer, I'm a musician, or I'm an actor. People vibe, or people like, okay, yeah. But when you tell people I'm a magician, there's this kind of look they give you. It's either they're like, is this guy for real, or is this guy into juju and all of that voodoo?
They usually have two. Most people that don't know about it, they
Yeah.
usually have two perspectives. Most people who are like, this is straight up juju. You get, yeah. And then there's some people like, okay, you are probably a trickster, that you swindle people for their money and all of that. Yeah. So yeah, this is the thing. I mean, it's understandable because of we are on this side of the world here. But magic is actually one of the oldest forms of art in the world. Like, it has been since the days of the kings and the queens back then, when they wanted to have these banquets. They call, the magicians, and these said kings did have magicians in their cabinets.
Yeah.
That they seek advice from. So it's a really, it's a really ancient art, so to speak, probably older than some of the arts that most people are used to. Like I'm talking about the Iron Age, when they used to wage war with swords and shields. Yeah, so it's really old. But on this side of the of the world, we have this diabolical
Angle to looking at
perspective
it. Yeah.
for it. Yeah. So yeah. So I think currently now, civilization is actually changing a lot of things now. So most people already know about it before they meet you. Yeah. And when you have to convince somebody on the spot, you can easily just tell them, nah, come on, it's just illusion, and you're going to be safe. Yeah, and it's just entertainment. Yeah. So it's one of the things of being a professional entertainer, so you have to find a way to be able to connect with them
Your
at
audience.
first approach
Yeah.
for them to be able to receive you in. So things like, you know, the way you look, the way you dress, the way you talk matters a lot. You don't want to call yourself a magician and you now wear things that actually do make you like look like a juju man. You get so
Yeah.
so yeah, so anybody that still thinks it's juju doesn't just know better. So it's your job to explain to them. Most people still have their shield up. It's okay, you know, if they are not really open to it. But yeah, I feel like once they see it and they experience it, they see that it's not, they are not taking their glory. Nobody's nothing has vanished. They just, you know, they just feel this sense of amazement because that's what it does. Yeah. When you see something that's, like I said, that childhood amazement that we all have, a child is easily amazed. Yeah. So we lose it over time. You know, that's like we said, that imaginative spirit, we lose it over time. But experiencing it live, you know, especially as an adult, although children love magic as well, I feel, because that's what it does for me. You get, it has actually taught me over the years that anything is possible. So you seeing it physically is just a physical representation of something that you actually felt when you were way younger, because children could believe that anything is possible. You see a child, you know, really young, ask him what you want to be in the future. He's saying he wants, in the future, he's saying he wants to be an astronaut or whatever. He doesn't even know how the process to achieving that is going to look like. But he just knows that it's something that should be achievable. So that is what I feel for me personally. That's what magic is. So I feel like, you know, I would like people to, you know, from my act, one thing I would like to leave for people is for people to still have that hunger, that belief that anything is possible.
Okay.
But I'm still curious, honestly, because if you say it's not juju, it's not anything. So is there any art of science compilation to the art of magic or something?
Okay, so when people ask me this question, I used to say it like this. There are tricks, there are illusions, and then there's just pure magic. Now, all of those three, what's the word now?
Categories.
Branches, or what do you call it now?
Categories.
Yeah, categories just depends on who is witnessing it. Do you understand? So it depends on your perspective. I don't like to dictate the perspective to the spectator. I just want to present to you. You understand? So some people can see what I do and just say it's juju. You get. And I'll look at them that if I convince you that it's not juju, it might take away the wonder and the amazement from you. But even if it's juju self, how often can you see somebody come and do actual live juju with all the cameras? You know, sometimes to me self, I haven't really seen any real juju act. Except somebody is going to come with the whole herbalist stuff and vanish right in front of me. Yeah, so I still have a little limit to how I believe, you know, those things work. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but you understand what I mean? So I like to leave that to the spectator to, you know, to experience. You know, so some people can see it as an illusion, some people could see it as a trick, and some people could see it as you just being something extraordinary. So I don't want to dictate to the spectator. So I'll say there's magic, there are illusions, and then there are tricks. So now the level to which you experience either one of them just depends on the person performing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depends on the magician, not the
And
audience.
the spectator.
And the audience.
I mean, even if I tell you that something is a trick, I could still do it and then you still have no explanation
Yeah,
of how
like,
it's done.
this is voodoo. This is nothing but
so
voodoo.
because there are a few people that they have seen me perform several times. There's nothing I could tell them that could make them, you know, change their mind about the fact that I'm doing juju. Because I how will I put it? I mean, I've done some stuff. I've vanished on stage. I've made things
You
vanish.
vanished on stage.
Oh, yeah, I did that.
So
on
how,
live on TV.
wait, how is that an illusion? Wait, I don't understand. You vanished.
I don't think
That
I
is
want to do this anymore.
that is voodoo. That is juju. That
No,
is
I've done that. I've done that
Yeah.
a few times already. So And there's still more that I still plan to do. So there's like, it's just up to, I feel up to the spectator to just enjoy the art.
So when you like you were in front and it just boom, and
Yes, now.
they couldn't see you
That's
anymore.
in here, do.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, you did that at the competition.
Yeah. You can look it up on just search it on
Oh.
YouTube or something. You see there. She literally fell off her seats.
Okay, so let's go into your personal. I want to get personal with you, your personal faith, because people would want to know. What do you practice? Are you a Christian? Are you a Muslim? Or you're just a free spirit, free person? I want to know, because I want to know how that connects with what you do.
Okay, I am a Christian.
You're Christian.
Yeah.
Practicing.
Yeah, practicing.
Believing Christian.
Believing Christian.
So
yeah.
wait first before you go further. When your you attend a church, you have a pastor.
Sure.
So when your pastor asks you like, Nelson, bro, Nelson, what do you do for a living? Like, you don't tell the pastor, Pastor, I do magic for a living. I mean, how does that, living that kind of life? Because I can imagine how it is for you when people know that you're a magician and you're coming to church. They're like, how can this guy be a magician? He's into voodoo and he's coming to church. And, how do you marry it?
Okay.
Nakolabo.
Right. So, okay. Yeah, so over the years I've had my tussle with religion.
Yeah.
I think everybody should, while you grow up, you should be able to question a few things. So I have, there's the version of me that you would have met at some point, and I would have told you that there is no God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
And I would have given you facts to back it up.
This was when?
That's like a few years ago as well, until I had my own experience. I had, let's say, my own encounter. So now I do see the place of God. And yes, so yeah, I'm a committed Christian. I have a church. I performed in my church a few times as well. Yeah, so but I think
you performed in
yeah.
church.
Yeah, so it depends.
Oh, you did not turn the pastor to a rat. Sorry.
No. So this is how it works. If you ask me what I do, I'll tell you that I'm an artist.
Okay.
You understand? So what I do is I use objects and I use scenarios to create impossible moments. You understand? So it's like the way a painter would use the paint, the canvas and the brush to create that image. I would use whatever it is that would be required for that particular set to create that experience of the impossible for you at that moment. But unlike the artist, there's the physical representation of what was created.
Yeah.
But mine is not just that, it's an experience. You understand? So once you understand that, that's why I say it just depends on who is watching. So I would say my church, they are enlightened. I wouldn't see something like that flying in a lot more churches that are a lot more, what's the word now?
Religious.
I wouldn't really say religious because I don't think it makes you more religious, not understanding what magic is or art. I don't think that makes you more religious. It just makes you not exposed you just don't know what's going on. Yeah, and it's understandable. Yeah, I'm not going to judge you for that. So that just means that I have to be careful with who I present my stuff to and how I present it to them. So I wouldn't come to you straight up and tell you that how will I put it now? I have some spiritual backing whatsoever, although I think I'm amazing as well. But I will come to you to tell you that I can change your life or something. I don't want to take that space of any divine being so I don't do that. So
what you do is just pure art.
Yeah, just pure art. And sometimes what I even did, if I remember when I performed in churches a few times, there's a way most people don't know, but you can tailor magic to a theme as well. There are people that tailor magic to religion to a topic. So I performed a set that was talking about God. Do you get? It's almost like a ministration, so to speak. So that's how magic is that flexible. Over the years, I've been able to present it in various forms. Like you saw the other day at the show, it's kind of like performing with the music.
Yeah.
I've done it. The other day, my crew and I we have an event. One of a kind, hasn't been done anywhere in the world. First ever live magic stage play. So it's a stage play, but with magic in it.
Infused. In it.
So you know when you watch movies and you see magical stuff, it's usually just the whole editing and all of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is you watching
Live
a
and
play
direct.
live. Like if somebody is vanishing, the person is vanishing there, and you are. It's not on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on the phone. You are there. So how do you explain that? So it's like there's so many ways to it, to perform it. And I think over the years, we've been able to, as magicians, personally, I've been able to tailor the arts to actually pass a message at the same time, like every other forms of art do. So yes, like I said, it just depends on who is watching.
Who is watching? How long does it take for you to perfect a trick?
Well, you first have to create it. Yeah.
When you say create it, what do you mean?
Okay. So that hearing that just has to make you understand that magicians are creative. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I would do if I wanted to create a set would be, you have to first envision it. What do you do? What effects do you want to leave with the people? Because after all the mumbo jumbo and all of that, what really happened, what really matters is what they take away. So maybe you make something float, or you make something vanish, or you read somebody's mind. Whatever process you go through to do that is up to you. But the audience has to know that, okay, this guy just read my mind. Okay, this guy just made something happen. So what I would say as a magician, to create an illusion, so to speak, you have to envision it first. So you have to first, and here's the tricky stuff that most people ask me, is that how does it work? How does being a magician work? I think it's just quite simple. The answer is quite simple, but it's not straightforward. You have to be a magician. And being a magician means you have to know in your head that you are a magician, because that's the only way you can think like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to make, what kind of a person wants to make something float? Except if you feel like you understand. So creating something, I wouldn't really give it a time. Some things take years to perfect. Some idea comes up.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes. So I could have an idea of how to make a car vanish now. Okay. I say I want to make a car vanish, but I might not be able to figure out how to do it.
Okay.
How to go about it until whenever the inspiration comes. But the premise of the whole idea has to be present first. You have to first envision it. So there has to be the whole story. It's like, how would I put it? Maybe you have to first write the script before you now act it out. Yeah, so it's like being a magician is being a character. It's like being a movie character, but instead of being in a movie, you are in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that answer your question?
So sometimes it takes years. It depends.
Yeah, sometimes it's almost instantaneous.
Do you reach out to other colleagues for
Ah,
ideas or solutions to some tricks?
Yeah, to an extent, yeah. Yeah, sure. There's a term called what was the word now? Help me. Yeah, like you said, you can reach out to people to get ideas. Sure, you understand? Just say, oh, I have this idea, coming up, and they can rub minds together and create something. So yes,
like collaboration.
not necessarily collaborations, like rubbing minds together, because the way magic works is, like I said, it's a really old act. So there are old techniques. And it's all about how, when you continue doing it, you actually get to create a few yourselves. But they're like the basic theories, the basic principles, the basic laws for all of that. And when you have that, you can just build up from there. So
Aside the old Shagun thingy of how he gave you cards and he gave you a note of how this thing works, have you gone through any other trainings, or are you self-trained as a magician?
okay, so now we have to point it out that Shagun didn't really do much here. He just sparked up that hunger and just you understand. It's just how will I put it now? You are interested in drawing, and somebody just gives you your first drawing pad and pen.
Okay.
You understand? And tells you, this just shows you how to draw the basics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so what I did there's so many levels from what I described that he did then to what I do now. He has even stopped magic years ago. He doesn't even do magic anymore.
Imagine.
You understand? So if I'm probably supposed to be teaching him now. So like I said, it just sparked the hunger. I had there were years where I was just staying up all night researching anything any league that had to do with magic.
Magic.
Like I even joined online courses. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice.
I was like, but it was all online, so there wasn't really anything to it. There were things, there were ideas on how to do spells. There were ideas on. I even almost joined the Illuminati. I was looking for.
You almost joined what?
I was looking for the Illuminati online. No jokes. I was like, if these guys are real, I have to find them. Yeah, because I was so obsessed with it. Like I was so into it that I had time for nothing else
But that.
but that. Like I wanted it. Like I said, I was actually praying that God make I just feel medicine just floats. You get. I was even praying for it, whatever it could give me, just something. Like I loved the idea of representing the impossible.
Yeah.
You understand? Because I feel personally the world is getting too straight and direct. There's no wonder, there's no amusement. It's like technology has made everything just straightforward, ones and zeros. Yeah. So and one of the main things that actually helped us develop as human beings, I believe, is our imagination. Yeah, but that has kind of like taken that away from us to an extent. Everybody just goes to school and wants to come out and be something that already exists, and that is not really something that I feel very intrigued about. I wouldn't really want to be involved in anything that is common, regular. You understand? I don't find it interesting. So if you're going to call me for anything, it has to be something that is unique. Because that, like I said, that has been the hunger from the scratch to be able to stand out from the crowd. Yeah, so I believe that uniqueness is what, unique ideas, unique perceptions, unique everything is what is going to, branch out the new level of humanity or whatever one can use to refer to that.
I mean, you were really obsessed. When it comes to magic, I think the only time that I felt, I'd love to be a magician was when I watched the series Merlin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in fact, I learned a few spells.
Yeah. Even before Merlin, there was this movie, Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter. Then I think that was everybody's dream.
Yeah, but I think for me, when I watched Merlin, Merlin was like the wave of the moment at the time. It came in series, and you were following, and it was more like a classic series.
Yeah.
It was shot. Back then, we had characters of the Morgana and all of that.
That tells you how way back.
Yeah, way back. So
has.
I learned some spells. Sometimes I would be in my room and I would just say leve, like
King Give.
Now imagine if that
King Give the magician.
I'll just look at an object. I would use my hand. I'll say leve.
That's just it. Yeah.
I'd want to put on the stove back then, and I would like Berne, because then I think Berne is for love. If you want to put on a fire, small fire. The Inferno is if you want something to blow up and all of that. I had all that in my head, and I remember I really wanted to make some things move. Like if I wanted to shift a chair from here to there, because it was a series I was watching like from time to time. So
and you were so into it.
I was engrossed, and I remember going to read about magic, read about magician.
What did you read?
It was way back, and the time I think when people really saw magic and knew magic, especially in Nigeria, was during the time of Professor Pella.
Okay.
And the magic it did back then. That was like the only magician I have heard of, a Nigerian magician I have ever heard and read of. I read about him and all of that, and some of the tricks and magic. In fact, some people believed that Professor Pella did voodoo, not magic. I don't know what it is, but people felt it was too real to be trick or to be an illusion. And you can't compare. Okay, let me not say you can. Let me just ask you the question direct. Yeah.
Okay.
Like comparing the magic of those times, like during the time of, let's say, Professor Pella's kind of magic and illusion, and what you people now have magicians do, how can you compare and contrast it? Would you say what they did back what Professor Pella did was illusion. They were also tricks, or they were magic. I'm sure you would have seen 1 or 2 videos of him doing all of that. Yeah? So would you say that what he did back then was pure illusion and tricks, or would you say there were elements of, you know, voodoo there? Because people believed that Professor Pella was very powerful. In fact, there were some people that said that he was too powerful, that the only time they could get him was when he was praying, when he was praying he had to leave all his charms and all of that. I don't know how true that is, but I'm just saying, if you had to compare and contrast, how would you rate it?
You know, okay, rate myself with him.
Yeah.
I never met him.
Of course.
Yeah, so I only have a few clips. But I think if I am not the best magician in the country, I have to be among one of the few.
Ooh.
In the whole, let's even say the country, the whole
Africa.
of Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm only going to mention a few, I can't mention the top 10. I probably can't mention more than you. If you made your research, the magicians in Africa are the best top 10. If I am not there, you have to go and make your research again.
Actually, I've never ever seen any other magician aside what I heard of Professor Pella until I saw you. Now, the reason why I was not, I was wowed, I was amazed at your performance. Like I said, you killed it. It was a flawless performance right there at the show. But why I was not, would I say fascinated, was because I saw a movie some years back, Now You See Me. Yeah, so that movie showed, or will I say gave like an expose on what magic is, how it works, how the illusion and the tricks work. So anytime I see someone perform, I like, UK, I know how you did it.
Don't worry, no, it's just simple.
So now with that, you already answered the question here, but let me just put it plainly. Now you see, when Professor Pella, this person was speaking then, when he was performing those days, that was the time that, you know, people were at the moment. It's like, how will I put it now? Have you seen Michael Jackson dance?
Yes.
See the moves that he did? If Michael Jackson was to be reborn now, most of his moves would probably look pretty weird. Don't you think?
True.
Yeah. So now that's just it. Like I said, being a magician means you have to embody the character, even while you're not on stage.
Yeah.
You understand? So the more mystery around your character, the more, you know, wonder, the more presence that you pull makes your performance a lot more elaborate in the long run. Yeah, so it's like acting, but acting in real life. So you have to be that character. You understand? So if if you put I am Professor Pella on stage right now, I think I'll give him a run for his money.
I've seen Professor Pella levitate. I've seen him, you know, I saw some clips where he was like this and he moved.
Okay.
So you're telling me
you should come to my show, Means of Illusion.
Nice.
People were screaming blood of Jesus. I'm telling you, So that is it, So I think, like you said, back then there is not a lot of information. This is the information age. There's not a lot of information going on around here. So when Pella performs, you have to just take what you see. But like you said, Means of Now You See Me has opened up the floor. Now you can now see the art behind it. You know, the mystery. You can see how, you know, how everything works. Basically, not necessarily how it works still, but you can understand.
Just have an
art.
idea about it.
You understand? So now there is no point for me coming to tell you that I am a divine entity that fell from space. Like most people like to do. Some people tell you they are an alien. Some people tell you that they were born with magic powers. I don't really see the need for that. You understand? Still doesn't mean if you can best me on stage. I mean, you can give it a try if you want. I am a spectacle. I am an entertainer. I am that one thing that you see on stage and you witness and you be like, ooh, this guy is good, and then you give me a round of applause, which is what every performer does at the end of the day. I don't want you to worship me. I want you to be entertained, because you know, and because there's a very thin line, right? I've had instances where people approach me, and they're telling me their life problems and like because they've seen me perform here and they were like blown away. They feel like I can solve their problem. There was a
Wow.
day somebody's like, bro, I don't understand this life. Can you help me explain it? I feel like you have a more superior approach to life. I'm like, dude,
Relax.
relax, calm down, breathe. Okay, so there was an instance where somebody collected my number from somebody, just found a way to reach out to me, and she was like, she lost her phone a couple of weeks back. Can I help her track it?
As per track away, you mean?
You
Magic share
understand?
now.
So yeah, now there's a very thin line when you do
Yeah.
something like I do.
Yeah.
Like I think I don't not permit me to relate it to being probably like a pastor.
Mm.
There's a thin line between where you are ministering to people and where you are claiming to be the solution to their problem. You understand? So if you don't watch it,
Yeah.
you understand.
People believe that you have access to the
Certain-
supernatural.
Exactly, because it's
Exactly.
very easy. You get me?
Yeah.
What this they've already seen the proof,
Yeah.
right? So, and it gets so deep to the extent that when a magician performs, there are people that want to test you. There's a friend of mine that once went for a gig somewhere. I think somewhere in Cotonou. He was invited also. After I finished performing, while I was just trying to leave the venue, somebody just near him used juju naka for hand or something, and was messed up for like a long period of time. I think he said the hand was swollen. Instances like that.
Because they want to try you, they want to
You want,
test
yeah,
you.
you get me.
Wow.
So there are people that just want to test you,
Yeah.
because when you come up on stage to embody that character,
Yeah.
you push a lot of boundaries, when
Yeah.
it comes to people's perception of things. So
Yeah.
they want to test you. So I feel, and what magicians these days, what I feel any magician now should understand is that you are an artist. So present yourself as such. You understand. So I
Yeah.
would rather let you know that I'm just a guy that's good at what I do,
Mm.
instead of letting you believe that I am an reincarnation of Jesus
Or
Christ
you're
or
a
something.
god or something. And some people actually can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To being okay, I have supernatural
The
powers, I
powers.
can make all your
And they
problems
start
go
swindling
away.
people. That's where it
Exactly,
starts.
and they start
I mean, even
swindling
the whole
people.
that's been what it is from the scratch. Most herbalists and most juju people are actually just doing illusions and tricks. Most people don't know.
Oh.
Yeah,
But you just have to create the thin line
Imagine if I
between
walked in
it.
here with a calabash and the whole set. There's what else?
Yeah.
Now you
get-
perform a little bit of magic.
Yeah.
to it.
You get me? So there's nothing else to make you believe that I am not what I say I am.
Yeah.
So we are in the information age, and news spreads fast. In order not to to drag your audience, like I said, what I'm all about, what I believe, because I feel everybody has a drive and purpose. Like I said, I believe what I want to do with my art is to inspire people.
Okay.
I don't want to have you thinking that I can be something to you that I actually can't.
Okay.
But I can represent something that can make you believe in yourself a little bit more to be able to solve that said problem that you have. So I am not the solution to your problem. You get
Alright.
me? But what I do is a representation of the fact that there are solutions to problems.
Okay.
Sure, you
Yeah.
understand. So that's what
Do
I
you
think.
train people?
Oh, I don't train anybody for now.
Because you don't want to let out your secrets. You are still trying to cover the secret.
It's stingy with
Okay,
it.
so yeah, any magician you ask will
Yeah.
tell you this. The main power that a magician has is knowledge, yeah. And the only thing that makes knowledge valuable is secrecy.
Secret, yeah.
You understand? So once, as a magician, if you're not careful with how the magic, goes out there, it just takes everything away from the audience. And that's
Yeah.
not, you wouldn't want that, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I've tried, but it's the same problem. When somebody reached out to me trying to ask me to tutor them, and I do get involved in it, when I start taking them through the process, they lose interests.
Okay.
Yeah, because they are thinking, they when I do it, it looks like bam, this guy just made something appear here, but they don't see the work,
Work
that it
behind
takes,
process.
yeah, to get there. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but once you start taking them through the process, they're like, I just wanted to just go and make somebody fly. I just wanted to just go out and just do something. I was expecting you to just give me one or two things that I'll just leak and rub and I'll just rub my waist, you know, and just go out and just keep doing that stuff. Because that's what we Nigerians think about.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so no. It's none of that stuff.
You know, that also speaks to the fact that people celebrate success, but they do
Exactly.
not want to go through the hard work that leads to the
to be able to
success.
do that.
Yeah,
So,
they
yeah,
just
so-
love the glamour.
Yeah, so to round up and answer your question, with Dr. Pella, Professor Pella, sorry. Yeah, I think if I'm to actually speak on that topic, which is one of the problems we have in this part of the world, is that people like to gatekeep. Now, the fact that there was a magician as prominent as that, and there's nobody that can clearly say that, I came out from this person, speaks a lot. Yeah, because most of the magicians that you will meet now, when you ask them who your mentor is, they're going to call somebody outside the country, somebody.
Yeah.
You understand? But there was actually somebody that was doing that here, but they held on to it so much. The family, I think, held on to it so much that they didn't find a way to pass it on. And one thing about magic is the only way to keep magic alive is to have more
Prodigies.
magicians.
But is that not what you're doing? You're not giving the idea to someone else.
Oh, no, it's not that I'm not giving the idea to somebody else, but like I said, this is it. It's very delicate. You can see, for example, now if I told you I could teach you, you would like to learn, yeah? Yeah, but if you don't really have the hunger, you see how I was searching for it, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't really have the hunger, you will lose it. You understand? Over the years, because it's not going to be a instantaneous something. Yeah, it's magic is one of the acts where you guys don't get that walking sha. You understand? For you to be able to have that confidence to be on stage and, you know, push out that character. Once you see a 10 minutes act, there's the endless night practice and rehearsals and all of that for me to be able to come out and tell you that at every given moment when I step on stage, I'm going to amaze you.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of work that's been put into it. So yeah, if you meet somebody that is not as, that you don't see that same fire that you had, there's no point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one thing is, if you want to be a magician or learn magic, you have to already be looking for magic. You understand. You have to already.
The hunger has to be there,
has
and
to
you're
be there.
searching by yourself.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, you don't even need me to whatever. What I can do is once I see that you've started, I can just point out. I can direct. I can say, okay, this how to do this. You can do this to make this better. You can do this to make this better, and all of that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. It's been a wonderful conversation with Phantom, the magician, and you know we've been talking about magic all the while, and I think it's just right, especially for our audience. It would not be nice that we had a magician in the studios and he was not able to perform anything for us. So we'll go on this short break. It's a very, very short one. When we come back, Phantom would be doing some magic. Who knows? Probably he's going to be turning Heritage to a rat or something.
Why now? Why?
But whatever it is, you're going to see it live on camera. And we are going to be watching closely because I want to see how this thing works. I've been, while I was on stage, I was saying, let me just get close to this guy. I'm going to catch him. So right now, I'm so close to him and I want to catch him. I want to know how he does what he does. So do not go anywhere. Stay right here on FluxITV. We'll be back with some magic.